Why is free billing and invoicing software the smartest option for small businesses, particularly small trade and service-based businesses? We're talking about free and non-subscription-based tools you don't have to pay a monthly subscription for. If you're a small business owner, you run a small trade company, you're probably frustrated with subscription fees. You're probably frustrated with overly complex features, every little field you've got to fill out, drop-down menus, how tedious this all is, right? You were sold tools that made you more efficient, that were going to be inexpensive, and where they really resulted after the free promotion or discounted promotion wore off, they resulted in high monthly subscription fees for these really tedious tools that frankly aren't a lot different than still using paper and pen, right? You can write out an invoice or write out a quote, or you can get in your software and still have to type out every little field. The only actual efficiency we've maybe gained in the last 10 or 20 years is having these records accessible in an application, maybe accepting digital payments. Those are the only real differences than moving from paper and pen to software. So minimal time savings and then relatively high monthly costs. All the small business owners I talk to are spending typically a couple $100s a month in software subscription fees, and many of them are spending a couple $1,000s a month. It is time to readdress this. So what is the real problem with small business software, or how did we end up here? It goes back 10 or 20 years as most of the vendors in this space were getting started. So whether you're using kind of an operations leaning software like Jobber or ServiceNow or ServiceTitan, or you're more reliant on an accounting finance software like QuickBooks or FreshBooks, they all have similar histories in that, one, they're relatively old in today's tech standards. They're 10, 20 plus years old. They had to start with the same business model that was a necessity of the time. Kind of went for the top players first. They had a top-down approach. So they went to work with service businesses, certainly doing $5 or $10 million a year in top-line revenue, and maybe more like 25 million or more. They wanted enterprise-level customers to build out their feature sets, pay high monthly subscriptions so that they could then work top-down in the market. And so what that resulted in was very rigid workflows, right? You pick your software and you sign up for their way of doing things. They're overly complex and they're not flexible and dynamic. When you're thinking about the majority of this market, most small businesses, there's a lot of differences in geography and service line, right? You can't take a category like landscaping or cleaning and say one size fits all. They've tried to force all these businesses into very rigid software workflows, and that doesn't work real well. And it's part of the feeling that we have in how tedious this software is. There's also really long, complex onboarding timelines. Setting this up is not fast. You get into one of these accounts and then they require a lot of information from you, a lot of fields to fill out, a lot of steps to take, and sometimes it's even manual. You're working with their teams because they're saying to the business owner who's running a $500,000 business or $2 million business or $7 million business, they're saying the same things that they're telling the $50 million business, right? They're diving into the complexity that just may not exist there. All of this, and all of this results in high subscription costs, right? That's how they've covered their bases here. Be offering a promotion, sign up for 2 weeks free, and then your first year is $30 a month for the first user. Then quickly you're paying $100 a month and you've exceeded any advantage that you had. And so all of these things add up to small business software being really, really broken today. The next part is, why do these platforms then miss the mark? When you take each thing we just discussed, why is that just a total miss for small businesses? A small business needs the quoting estimating, they need invoicing, they need payment collection, they need scheduling, they need to be able to manage their jobs or tasks. A lot of flexibility. Everyone's going to be different. So what I want is a tool where I can get those feature categories, but I can tell the tool and use the tool how I wish. I don't have to follow the blueprint of every other business in this category that's 10 times larger than me, that just simply doesn't apply to how I run my one-person business or my 5-person business, where we're all wearing a lot of different hats and doing a lot of different jobs. So there's massive feature overload. There's the cost creep we discussed, right? There's the fact that they run promotions to get you hooked, but then they quickly have those promotions expire, or there's certain actions you take that negate them. So you add that second user, that third user, and all of a sudden the free promotion went away and you're now in the $200 a month tier and there's nothing you can do about it. And then there's the antiquated design. So we already talked about their top-down approach to the market and that they had this long history that is incredibly costly for them today. But so is the fact that they've got this old software to run. And so any software that wasn't created in the last couple of years is very expensive to maintain. It's taking up lots of server space. It's relying on old workflows that are expensive, supporting lots of areas of the software that are used very minimally or not used at all. And there's no way for them to kind of shed that weight. Newer softwares are much lighter. They're using AI to speed up processes. They're using very little server space, or maybe even have a serverless model. And this is really dynamic and flexible and allows costs to be lower, and it allows those companies to tailor their products to you. This kind of results in, well, why is a free tool or a non-subscription based tool better? Sure, we talked about how a modern software company might be lighter weight and have lower expenses, but how does this actually relate to what a small business owner needs? So the first part is cost structure. If they're a free tool, they're probably monetizing some other area of the platform, like transactions. Or if they're a non-subscription based pricing model, so like a usage pricing model, they're scaling with you. They actually understand your business. They're saying the more usage you have, and usage could be looked at differently depending on the tool, but the more usage you have, the more tasks you use our software for, the more we'll charge you, but we're gonna grow with you. It's an actual partnership. The ease of use of these tools, right? They have that flexibility that a small business owner actually needs. Yes, there's an invoicing category. Yes, there's a scheduling category. How you choose to use that is really up to you and your team. There's speed with this, right? So there's not that long onboarding cycle where you've got to learn their processes. There's not a lot of input that you have to put in. You can just get going. And that's really important, that it's going to get you going quick and it's going to grow with you. And there's a lot of true time savings. We talked about how the time savings advertised is often false with those larger players. This is the opposite. The time savings tends to be a bit more real. They're usually simpler user interfaces. If you look at most of the softwares out there today and you take an Excel spreadsheet, they look kind of similar. There's just dozens of fields and text boxes to fill out. And some of these lighter weight tools that are truly small business first tools, they are way easier to use from a design perspective. There's kind of one task at a time. They follow what you're telling it to do. You take an action, you schedule an appointment. Well, the next thing it asks is what time. It doesn't ask for a job number or some code to move the process forward. If you're a small business owner, you've got to ask which tool makes sense. If you're doing $25 or $50 million a year in top line, you still might be considered kind of a small or medium-sized business, but you've probably got some complex workflows that need white glove support and maybe even some customization, and maybe the legacy tools are a good fit. But if you're a small business owner doing $500,000 or $2 million or $7 million in top line revenue, chances are you need to find a more dynamic and modern tool that actually fits your needs. So the simplicity, or how does the simplicity of these tools actually affect cash flow? We've talked about pricing, that makes sense. So usage-based pricing directly relates to your cash flow. Your expenses will rise as your income rises, and that is great, right? As long as you're not overpaying, it directly relates to your growth. But the simplicity of these tools is also a major factor, in that if they're consuming less time, if they're easier to use, well, you're getting your work done quicker, you're spending less time on admin work. And then lastly, a lot of the businesses we're talking about in that kind of $500,000 to maybe $7 million category are still using paper. They're still avoiding certain technologies. And that might be because they're looking at the options out there and they seem expensive and they seem really complex. So what we need to do is redirect focus to finding the right tool. Find the tool that makes sense for you. Find a tool that has usage-based pricing. Find a tool that's free. Find a tool that is truly designed for small businesses and not reliant on its largest customers in order to provide software down market. Why does my business, Invoice.ai, why is Invoice the best fit for small businesses, or why is it worth a good look? It's because we do all of this, right? We are, first, we're free for the first 1,000 users. We'll then introduce task-based pricing. The more you ask the app, the more tasks you have the app complete, the more we'll charge you. But we're very committed to partnering with you through your growth. The next major reason you'd look at Invoice is we are AI voice supported products. We really want the app to be able to complete tasks for you. So you talk to it just like you would talk to an employee, and you tell it what to do. You tell it to add a customer, you tell it to generate a quote, you tell it to send an invoice, and it will go do those things for you all just with that sentence. Send John Doe an invoice for $1,100 for landscaping labor and $315 of materials, and that's all you say. It goes and generates a professional looking invoice. It has payment links. It collects that payment. It deposits it in your bank account. It updates John Doe's client record. It can send John Doe reminders for you. It can do all of that just from that one sentence. So you're talking about true time savings. You're talking about potentially not paying for the tool. As we scale and as you scale, there may be some costs associated with it with time, but all of that's directly related to your end goals and your end outcomes. So whether that's Invoice, our company and product, or a similar small business tool out there, if you are paying high subscription fees, if your tool cannot complete tasks for you, if your tool does not have flexible workflows, then you need to look at a free or usage-based tool that can actually assist your business.